In the district, we have all kinds of committees and task forces and groups to confront the issues and problems and challenges that we have and actually come up with solutions. We have a district student achievement team. We've had that for years and years and years, and that's the highest level. We're looking at student achievement and how we're doing as a district. We have our instructional alignment team. That's just 1 year old. We're going into our second year. And you have your collaborative teacher teams. But the building level, the building student achievement team, is central and pivotal to everything we do. I want you to think about that. You're central and pivotal to everything we do. And I wrote down a few words when I was thinking about the BSATs. Potent, powerful, and essential. And that powerful is a key word, because you can be powerful if you accept that role and realize that you have such a central responsibility. There's so much stuff and noise that's going on outside of the schools, and it's just the way it is. We have state things we have to do, we have district things we have to do, the board has ideas, superintendent has ideas, associate superintendent has ideas, the curriculum department has ideas. There's just a lot of stuff going on. And I see the BSAT as actually being the funnel. All that stuff has to be taken in. You can't ignore it, but somehow you have to take it down to the essentials. So you filter it, and you really are a prism to take all that stuff and turn it into priorities and reality for the classroom, for the teaching and learning. So I want you to think about that. All the stuff, you somehow have to say, wait a minute, we can't do it all. Here are the priorities. Here are the things we want the teachers to be teaching and the learners to be learning. So I just did a video yesterday for the beginning of the school year. It's going to be very short and informal. I'll give you a little prelude of what I'm going to talk about, because I think it's very important. It's okay if you hear it twice. Our collective responsibility statement. Every member of the Davenport Community School District team is responsible for the success of all students. Two key words, every and all. That is really, really important. A group of leaders and I were reflecting a couple months ago about that statement, and someone mentioned, you know, it's more than responsibility, it's accountability. So I really spent some time thinking, well, what's the difference in being responsible or accountable? Responsibility is kind of a formal definition. It's a structure. So if you're in the school district, you're responsible because we educate. And no matter what your job is, we educate. But if you're accountable, a couple words I found the definition that, number one, you're liable. And the other one is you're answerable. So think about that. When you're liable for something, that kind of, I'm liable, I'm going to be sued because I didn't do what I was supposed to do. Liable is a really strong word. And so is answerable. If something isn't happened, I have to answer for it. Now that's really personal. Very, very personal. And I want us to all be accountable. I want BSATs, for example, to be accountable for to live the professional learning communities. We're all learning about it. It's going to still take a while, but we need to live that. It's not something out of a book. It's not a model. It's the way that we operate. And we're doing this at every level. At committee levels at the district, we're starting to operate as a PLC. The collaborative teacher teams. We know that they are central, they're pivotal in your school. That's where the action is going to take place that makes a difference. That's where the accountability is really going to be. Because we know if the learners are not learning, then somehow we're not doing our job. We have to overcome whatever it is that's in the way. We have to do our job. And also the BSAT is accountable for the standards. There are more standards than we have time to teach. Setting those priorities, understanding which ones, and making sure that in fact they are being learned by the students, that they can in fact accomplish what our standards require is extremely, extremely important. We say all students learn high levels with a rigorous curriculum, rigorous standards. So you have to keep that in mind. We could be completely successful if we lowered our standards. We know we can't. We know what we have to do. They have to be rigorous. They have to be for every single student. Every student in our school. I read some astounding statistics, and I won't bore you with them now, just talking about that when you take students and the programs that are really challenges like the free and reduced lunch, ELL, and special education, if you take those out, for example, of African Americans, 80% of the African Americans who aren't in those programs are proficient at the state level. That's pretty astounding, and that for every group that's the same thing. So we have to make sure all of those students are our responsibility, every single one of them. And then the BSAT has to be responsible for every person in your school being accountable. So we're talking about food service, custodians, the front office, the paraeducators, all of them. We all know of stories that just make us smile and feel great and proud about how food service people and front office people make a difference to students and families. There's the other side too. There are stories about where if they don't realize how important they are, if they're responsible for the success of our students, it goes the other way. So as a BSAT, it's not just teachers you have to deal with and work with, it's everybody in your school. You should be smart. In other words, you can't do it all. What things are you going to tackle? You have to be tough, because not everybody is going to come along, and you have to be relentless. There are teachers who are not on board. Your job is to get them on board or somehow change them. We have just got to do that. We can't leave any teacher out. They must all be accountable. And the teacher leaders are so significant in this effort to bring every teacher on board. You can't escape your accountability. I want you to think about that. For being liable and being answerable, because you are the prism that everything comes through for your school. And if you say PLCs are what we are, if you say that the collaborative teacher teams are what we do and they will be effective, and then you make sure that they are, it will make a difference in your school. Enjoy the day. This is such precious time that you have to be together, because in a few days, as you know, the train leaves the station. You just hang on and hope that you don't fall off. So enjoy today. Thank you for being here and for spending the time with us.